Christ be magnified, let his praises rise. Christ be magnified in me. Oh, Christ be magnified in the altar of my life. Christ be magnified in me.
Today we're covering the song Christ Be Magnified, and really the key to this song is learning how to play what's called a passing chord. All throughout the song, you'll see a passing chord that happens for just one beat of a measure, and then it passes you on to the next measure. So it's really helpful to know what strum pattern will work well for passing chords, as well as some tips on your chords and how to get into and out of chords really quickly, because that will matter a lot with one beat passing chords. So before we do that, let's take a look at the song as a whole and just see what's happening generally with the song. You can see the chart here, and by the way, you can download it. Just check out the link in the description box, and while you're at guitarman.com, you can check out how to get a membership for $1 to check out every single guitar lesson, every guitar course on the site. So this song is in the key of A. Now, if you want to use your A chord family, this is a great song to do that. Just print out the A chord chart and follow along with the song. But what we're going to do is capo 2 and use the G chord family instead of the A chord family. And there's two reasons for this. One, it's easier to play. Most people like G chords better than A chords. And the second reason is it gives you a little bit of room if you need to back off a key or to go lower. If you take your capo off, now it's lower. If for a male vocal, for instance, if A is too high, you can take your capo off and just play regular G chords. Everything you'll learn will apply, and it'll be in the key of G, which is a whole step lower than the key of A. And then likewise, if you need to move it up for a female vocal or just something else, every slot, every fret where you move your capo up is a half step higher. So that gives you some flexibility. So we will learn it using the G chord shapes. So again, looking at the chart, you can see what I was talking about with the passing chord. It's where you have 3 beats for one chord, and then you have this passing chord that takes you to the next measure. And it happens all throughout the song. This is kind of the sound that develops that you identify with the song. It's kind of an accent on this passing chord, and then it moves on. And let's see what else is happening in the chart. In the verse, you pretty much have chords, so just a full strum pattern for each chord. And then in the chorus and the intros and the turnarounds, you have these passing chords that are real common. As far as the bridge, you have full chords there too, but the bridge drops a little bit musically. And I'm going to show you a finger picking pattern that you could hear in the actual studio track, and I'll show you how to play that as well at the end of our lesson. So let's jump into chords, and these chords are pretty common. So G, you can just use your normal G. C2, you can use that instead of an actual C, just use a C2 chord, which looks like G, but these two fingers are moved down. With your D chord, I use this a lot in the key of G, and it depends on the song and the sound, but what you can do is the D sus. You're just keeping these two fingers the same as you would with a G or a C2. Starting on the D note, you're playing what looks like a D, but with your pinky added. This is a D sus 4. So for your E minor, instead of an E minor, you can play a G over E. Anytime you see E minor, you can play that. Again, we're keeping these two notes consistent all the way through. And that's going to help when you switch in and out of chords quickly, like we were just talking about. Now, the one chord you may need to experiment with to see what you want to do is the A minor chord. Now, one trick you could do, the easiest way for sure to play that is a G over A. So it looks like G over E, but you're moving your pointer finger down and then starting on your 5th string on your A string. That way you get the bass note of A, and you get the consistency of your pinky and your ring fingers. Another option here is to play an A minor or an A minor 7, and then keep your pinky on the 3rd. So if you keep your pinky there, it gives you, again, a little bit of consistency. So if you want the full A minor sound instead of... You could add your pinky to have it connect a little bit more sonically with C and G. So if you look at the chord progression, it's G, A minor, C. If you do this G over A, it's going to help you get quickly into C. So you can tell here all I'm doing from G over A into C2 is adding my middle finger into the C2. Now when you're on C2, you're going, D is your passing chord. So again, this helps too with that D sus. It's just one hit, so it really doesn't matter that much. You don't have to have the full D sound. You can just keep it here. So C2. And then from here, you're going into an E minor or G over E. It's just one finger you have to worry about coming up here to the second. Then you're back to C. So that'll help you switch from all these chords, is just keeping those two down where you can, except for the A minor, where you would at least keep your pinky on. So that'll give you some options as you're switching in and out of chords. Now let's talk about your right hand and strumming. And this is really key with passing chords, is getting the right strum pattern. Probably the easiest one for this song sounds like this. Down, 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 up, 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 down, up, down, up. So 3 downs, 3 ups, and then down, up, down, up. So down, 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 up, 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 down, up, down, up. Now once you have that strum pattern, you can actually sub out that down, up at the end. That's worth 1 beat. So that's where you would apply it to your passing chord. So that you could actually turn that into just one big down strum. Down, 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 up, up, up. And then one strum here for your passing chord. And that'll help you for sure as you're learning, because both hands are doing one thing together instead of down, up with your right hand and then chord switching with your left. So let's take an example, G to A minor, and we're going to use G over A. So this happens at the beginning of the chorus. Down, 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 up, 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 down. And then you start right back over with your strum pattern into the next set, or the next measure, which would be C into D. Down, 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 up, 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 down. Now, if you want to do the down, up on that passing chord, you definitely can. Just know that that one strum is an option. So let me play through the chorus progression so you can hear it work out. I was actually playing an accent in a down and then a quick down up to get me into my next chord. So experiment with that, but that'll give you the basics of a strum pattern that works really well with passing chords. Now let's talk about the bridge, because the song kind of breaks down and everything just drops a little bit. You hear a lot of pads happening there. And then if you listen really carefully, you can hear kind of a finger picking acoustic part over top of the pads. So your bridge chords are C, D, E minor, G over B. And really the picking pattern's pretty easy. So you can just do your C shape. You don't need the bottom half of the chord. You can play it if you want to, but you're focusing really on the 5th string, the 4th, and the 3rd. And it's a simple back and forth pattern. So you'll do your C shape, starting with your thumb on the bass note. And you can use whatever fingers you want here. One trick I like to do is to hold my pick with my pointer and use my other fingers for finger picking, and then I can just get right back to the pick to strum before or after in the song. I'm used to doing that, so it's second nature for me, but you definitely have to work on that because it feels odd. So just hold your pick like that, and then we can get into this alternating. And all you're doing is 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're playing 16th notes of the measure, but really it's just a pattern of thumb, and then your middle with a string right below it on the 4th string, back to thumb, and then the other string that's higher, and you do it again. used to that pattern, and that's all you have to really worry about with the pattern throughout this bridge. So again, we'll start with D, 3, 4. You're going to do a D slide here. Just take that position up 2 frets. Play an E minor, and you're going to do the same thing, but your thumb is going to be on the low bass note. Your other fingers are still on that G and the D strings. And then after E minor, we have a G over B. Which is just, you're just holding down the B note. So you're on the 5th string, A string on the 2nd fret. And then you're back to where you started on the C. Now, if you want to, just an option here, you could take your pointer off and get more of a, just a different sound here. And then the song will start to kind of swell and build throughout the bridge. And you kind of lose hearing that faint picking part. So what you can do there is start strumming. And with those builds, it's the same idea. You're just going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. These are 8th notes, 3. And then when the song is built up, you can move back into your strum pattern, which is more full. This, by the way, is a D slide. It's a C chord moved up 2 frets. You don't have to play that. You can just stick with your D. So that's the bridge, the finger picking part moving into the strumming part. Now let's talk about the intro lick. It's a pretty simple lick, and you'll hear electric guitar and piano play it over top of the intro, and then the turnaround after. It's either the first verse. Yeah, I think after the first verse they play this intro lick again, and it sounds like this. So it's 0 on the 2nd string or your B string, and then 3rd fret relative to capo, and then your 3rd string open, and then 4-2 on your D string. So let's say you're playing lead guitar. That's all you have to do over top of the rest of the band that's playing the chords. And then again, piano plays it. If you want to incorporate that into your chords, so if you're the only person playing and you're playing guitar and you still want that lick, you could either do that with finger picking or you can do that with your strum. So just think about the chords you're playing and how to accent those notes as you strum the chord. So if you strum a G and end with an open 2nd string, that'll be the first melody. And then your ring finger can come down for that 2nd note. And then you can play your 3rd string open, your 4th string on the next, 4th fret on the next string up. And then here, where you land at the end is part of your C chord. So you could play like this. So you hit that 4 and that'll take you into your C2 chord. And play it nice and light. So if anyone's heard the song before, they'll hear the melody as you start to play it. And even if you're playing a chord with that note kind of hidden within the chord, it'll still kind of stick out as, oh, I know that song. I've heard that lick before. So So now you have everything you need to play this song. You have the chords that will make it easy to switch. You have your strum pattern, which will also make it easy to switch. Your bridge finger picking, if you want to try that out. And of course, your signature lick as well. So you have everything you need for this song, Christ Be Magnified.